Remember when British crisps didn't need fancy advertising campaigns? They were most liked in every home. Tuda, horror bags, Ringos, potato puffs. Crisps everyone knew. Somewhere along the way they disappeared from the corner shop rack and nobody talks about these crisps anymore. Let's rediscover the 30 forgotten British crisps only true Brits remember. Tudor crisps dominated the northeast of England from the 1940s onwards, becoming Britain's second biggest crisp brand by the 1970s. Produced in Peterlee, County Durham, Tuda offered colour-coded flavours, blue for cheese and onion, brown for beef barbecue, red for tomato sauce, that every corner shop stocked. A packet cost 5 to 10 pence in the 1970s. Families bought Tuda by habit, not choice. The brand survived takeovers by Smiths, then Walkers. But by 2003, Walkers discontinued Tuda entirely to focus on their own range. The Peterlee factory closed in 2017. Golden Wonder revolutionised British crisps in 1962 by inventing the first ever flavoured crisp: cheese and onion. Before that, crisps were plain with a separate blue salt bag. Golden Wonder's innovation made them Britain's #1 crisp brand by the mid-1960s, outselling Smiths nationwide. A packet cost 3 to 5 pence in the 1960s. The original recipe used real cheese powder and strong onion flavouring that left your fingers smelling for hours. By the 1980s, recipes changed, flavours weakened, and Walkers overtook them. Whilst Golden Wonder still exists today, the original 1960s cheese and onion recipe. Horror bags. Fangs were cheese and onion corn snacks shaped like vampire teeth, produced by Smiths in the mid-1970s. Kids loved them because you could wear the fangs in your mouth before eating them, pretending to be vampires in playgrounds across Britain. A packet cost 8 to 12 pence in the late 1970s. The bags featured horror artwork, bats, vampires, skeletons, that made them irresistible to children. Fangs were part of the horror bags range alongside bones, bats, ribs and claws, but fangs were the most popular. By the early 1980s, Smiths discontinued the entire horror bags line without explanation. Horror bags bones were salt and vinegar corn snacks moulded into bone shapes, launched by Smiths alongside fangs in the mid-1970s. Each of the packet featured skeleton artwork that fascinated children, and the bone shapes were stackable, making them playground toys as much as snacks. A packet cost 8 to 12 pence. The salt and vinegar flavour was sharp and tangy, stronger than regular crisps. Kids would build bone piles before eating them, turning snack time into games. Horror bags. Bones sold well throughout the late 1970s, but by 1982, Smiths quietly discontinued the entire horror bags range. Horror bags. Bats were bat-shaped corn snacks flavoured Bat Burger, a mystery savoury flavour that tasted vaguely like beef and tomato. Launched by Smiths in the mid-1970s, the bat shapes had outstretched wings that kids used to recreate Dracula scenes before eating them. A packet cost 8 to 12 pence in the late 1970s. The packet featured gothic bat artwork in blacks and purples, making them the spookiest of the horror bags range. Bat Burger flavour was polarising. Some loved it, others hated it, but the novelty shapes kept sales strong. Smiths discontinued bats alongside the rest of horror bags around 1982. The first 5 crisps, Tuda, Golden Wonder's original recipe, and the entire horror bags range, weren't just snacks. They were household names that every British kid knew by sight. Nobody talks about vampire fangs or bone-shaped snacks anymore. The next 5 continue the vanished crisp legacy. Horror bags. Ribs were vampire vinegar-flavoured corn snacks shaped like rib cages, part of Smith's mid-1970s horror bags range. The rib shapes were curved and stacked together in the packet, making them satisfying to snap apart and eat one by one. A packet cost 8 to 12 pence. The vampire vinegar flavour was intensely sour, stronger than regular salt and vinegar, leaving mouths puckered and fingers sticky. The packet artwork featured skeletons and vampires that made them playground favourites during Halloween. Horror bags. Claws were bacon-flavoured corn snacks shaped like monster claws, launched by Smiths in the mid-1970s as part of the horror bags range. Kids loved the claw shapes because they could slip them onto fingertips like fake nails before eating them. A packet cost 8 to 12 pence in the late 1970s. The bacon flavour was smoky and salty, one of the stronger bacon-flavoured snacks available at the time. The packet featured werewolf and monster artwork in dark reds and blacks. Eating claws were the least popular of the horror bags range, often left on shelves whilst fangs and bones sold out. Ringos were ring-shaped crisps produced by Golden Wonder from the 1970s, featuring Ringo the Caveman as the mascot. The rings were stackable and came in flavours like cheese and onion, salt and vinegar, and pickled onion. A packet cost 10 to 15 pence in the 1970s. Television adverts showed Ringo the Caveman discovering fire and inventing crisps, making Ringos instantly recognisable to British children. The ring shape allowed kids to wear them on fingers before eating them, turning snack time into games. By the late 1980s, Ringos quietly disappeared from shelves, replaced by other ring snacks like hula hoops. Potato puffs were thin, hollow potato tubes produced by Burton's from the early 1980s. As sold in bright red packets, the tubes were about an inch long, light and airy, flavoured ready salted or cheese and onion. A packet cost 10 to 15 pence in the 1980s. School tuck shops stocked potato puffs alongside Quavers and Space Raiders, making them playground staples. Kids loved them because they were light enough to eat an entire packet quickly without feeling full. By the mid-1990s, Burton's discontinued potato puffs due to declining sales. Piglets were pig-shaped crisps launched in the early 1980s, moulded into little piggy shapes, complete with ears, snouts and curly tails. Produced as a novelty snack, piglets came in flavours like bacon, ironically, and cheese and onion. A packet cost 12 to 18 pence in the mid-1980s. The pig shapes made them instant playground favourites, with children playing farm games before eating them. The novelty wore off quickly, though, as the shapes didn't taste significantly different from regular crisps. By the late 1980s, piglets vanished from shelves without fanfare. These first 10 crisps show how Britain's crisp culture thrived on novelty shapes, regional brands and playground rituals. Tuda dominated the northeast. Horror bags turned snack time into games, Ringos featured a caveman mascot, and piglets were shaped like actual pigs. All vanished. The next 10 continue the forgotten crisp journey. Smith's Crisps revolutionised British snacking in 1920 by selling the first commercially packaged crisps in Britain. The iconic feature was the blue twist of salt tucked inside every plain crisp packet. Customers opened the bag and tipped in the salt, shook it, and ate. A packet cost 2 to 3 pence in the 1950s, rising to 5 pence by the 1970s. The ritual of shaking the bag became a national habit, passed from parents to children. By the 1980s, pre-salted crisps dominated, and Smith's discontinued the separate salt bag. Hedgehog crisps launched in the early 1980s as a novelty chicken-flavoured crisp marketed under the bizarre name Hedgehog Flavour. Despite the name, they contain no hedgehog meat, just chicken seasoning. A packet cost 12 to 15 pence. The marketing played on British folklore about gypsies eating hedgehogs, making them instantly controversial. Children loved the oddity, buying them for the shock value alone. Animal rights groups and trading standards officials complained, leading to legal challenges. By the mid-1980s, manufacturers quietly discontinued hedgehog crisps to avoid further controversy. The name vanished, the flavour disappeared. Fish and chips crisps captured the essence of Britain's favourite takeaway in a single packet during the 1980s. Sold in newspaper-style packaging that mimicked authentic chip shop wrapping, the crisps were flavoured with salt, vinegar, and a hint of fish seasoning. A packet cost 15 to 20 pence in the mid-1980s. The newspaper packaging made them instantly recognisable on corner shop shelves, and the nostalgic flavour reminded people of seaside holidays and Friday night chippy teas. By the early 1990s, fish and chips quietly disappeared from shelves. The newspaper packaging vanished, and no modern brand has replicated the concept. Outer Spacers were ring-shaped corn snacks launched in the early 1980s, themed around space exploration with futuristic packet designs featuring rockets, planets, and aliens. The most popular flavour was pickled onion, intensely tangy and vinegary. A packet cost 10 to 15 pence. The ring shapes were stackable, allowing kids to wear them on fingers like alien jewellery before eating them. Outer Spacers competed directly with hula hoops, but offered stronger, bolder flavours. By the late 1980s, Outer Spacers vanished from shelves without explanation. The space-themed packets disappeared, and the pickled onion rings were never seen again. Skydivers were little corn snacks shaped like parachuting men with outstretched arms and spread legs, launched in the early 1980s. The shapes mimicked skydivers mid-jump, making them instantly recognisable. Flavours included cheese and onion and salt and vinegar. A packet cost 12 to 18 pence in the mid-1980s. Children loved arranging skydivers into formations before eating them, turning snack time into playtime. The novelty shapes kept them popular throughout the 1980s, but by the early 1990s, skydivers quietly disappeared from corner shop shelves. 15 crisps down, and the pattern is clear. Britain's crisp industry thrived on novelty, ritual and controversy. Smith's salt bags became national habit, hedgehog crisps sparked legal battles, and fish and chips captured chippy nostalgia in newspaper wrapping. All vanished. The next 5 continue the forgotten crisp catalogue. Rancheros were Wild West-themed crisps launched by Golden Wonder in the early 1980s, now featuring cowboy and ranch imagery on the packets. Flavours included bacon, BBQ, pork and bean. A packet cost 12 to 15 pence. The bacon flavour was smoky and intense, stronger than most bacon crisps available at the time. Television adverts featured cowboys and ranches, positioning rancheros as rugged, masculine snacks. Kids traded them in playgrounds, and the bold flavours made them lunchbox staples. By the late 1980s, rancheros quietly disappeared from shelves. The cowboy branding vanished, and Golden Wonder never revived the name. Wheat Crunchies launched in the 1980s as a wheat-based alternative to potato crisps, offering a crunchier, denser texture. The bacon flavour was the most popular, featuring crispy, smoky bacon seasoning. A packet cost 15 to 20 pence in the 1990s, but the wheat base made them heavier and more satisfying than regular crisps, filling bellies faster. Wheat Crunchies became pub snack staples, often paired with pints of beer. By the mid-2000s, the bacon flavour was discontinued, leaving only spicy and Worcester sauce variants. The original crispy bacon Wheat Crunchies vanished from shelves, and younger generations never tasted them. Football Crazy Crisps launched in the mid-1980s during the football boom, featuring football imagery on every packet and a mail-in offer for free football kits. Flavours included cheese and onion, salt and vinegar, and ready salted. A packet cost 10 to 15 pence. Children collected packet tokens to send off for replica football shirts, turning crisp eating into a campaign. The promotion worked. Football Crazy sold massively during school lunch breaks. By the late 1980s, the promotion ended, and Football Crazy quietly disappeared from shelves. The football kit offer vanished, and the brand was never revived. Football Crazy is completely forgotten today. Bovril crisps captured the distinctive beefy, salty taste of Bovril beef extract in crisp form during the 1980s. The flavour was intensely savoury, polarising customers. People either loved or hated them. A packet cost 12 to 18 pence in the mid-1980s. Bovril crisps became a cult favourite amongst Bovril drink fans, who appreciated the authentic beef extract taste. The crisps were often mashed and sprinkled into cheese sandwiches for extra flavour. By the early 1990s, Bovril crisps vanished from shelves without explanation. The beef extract flavour disappeared, and no modern brand has replicated it. Bovril crisps are completely forgotten outside nostalgic food forums today. Wickers launched in the early 1990s with the unforgettable advertising jingle, "The wonderful thing about Wickers are wonderful things." The crisps were thick-cut, ridged potato crisps offering bold flavours like cheese and onion and salt and vinegar. A packet cost 20 to 25 pence. The jingle became playground currency, with children singing it endlessly. The thick-cut texture made Wickers crunchier and more substantial than regular crisps. Despite strong initial sales driven by memorable advertising, Wickers disappeared from shelves by the mid-1990s. The jingle vanished, the brand was discontinued, and nobody sings about Wickers anymore. Well, they're completely forgotten today. 20 crisps documented, and Britain's forgotten crisp legacy becomes clearer. Novelty shapes, intense flavours, memorable adverts and mail-in offers drove sales for decades. Rancheros brought Wild West themes, Bovril captured beef extract taste, and Wickers had an unforgettable jingle. All vanished. The final 10 complete the catalogue. Pizza, launched by Walkers in the early 1990s, offering cheese and tomato pizza flavour in crisp form. The name played on the phrase, bits of pizza, marketing them as portable pizza snacks. A packet cost 20 to 25 pence in the mid-1990s. The cheese and tomato flavour was sweet and tangy, replicating pizza taste surprisingly well. Kids loved them in lunchboxes. Here treating them as acceptable substitutes when real pizza wasn't available. By the early 2000s, Walkers quietly discontinued pizza to focus on core flavours. The pizza-flavoured crisps vanished from shelves and nobody petitioned for their return. Pizza is completely forgotten today. What's-Its Wafflers were cage-shaped cheese corn snacks launched in the mid-1990s. Offering a smokier, more intense cheese flavour than regular What's-Its. The hollow waffle structure made them crunchier and more substantial. A packet cost 20 to 30 pence in the late 1990s. The unique cage shape meant you could see through each waffler, making them visually distinctive on shop shelves. Children loved stacking them or wearing them on fingers before eating. Despite initial popularity, What's-Its Wafflers disappeared by the early 2000s when manufacturers focused on the original What's-Its range. The cage-shaped snacks vanished completely, and nobody talks about wafflers anymore. They're entirely forgotten today. Walker's Snaps launched in the early 2000s as a lighter, airier alternative to traditional crisps, offering a puff texture similar to rice cakes but potato-flavoured. Flavours included sour cream and onion and cheese and onion. A packet cost 30 to 35 pence. Marketed as a healthier, crisp option with fewer calories per bag, Snaps appealed to weight-conscious snackers. The texture was polarising. Some loved the lightness, others complained they weren't real crisps. Many people insisted Snaps were just rebranded Quavers, though Walkers denied this. By the late 2000s, Snaps vanished from shelves. The lighter crisp experiment ended, and Walkers never mentioned Snaps again. They're forgotten today. Tangy Toms were crunchy, tomato-flavoured cornballs, popular throughout the 1990s and early 2000s. The round orange balls were intensely tangy and sweet, replicating tomato ketchup flavour. A packet cost 15 to 25 pence. School tuck shops stocked Tangy Toms alongside Space Raiders and Wheat Crunchies, making them playground staples. The bright orange colour-stained fingers leaving telltale traces of who'd been eating them. By the mid-2000s, Tangy Toms became harder to find in major supermarkets, relegated to corner shops and pound stores. Eventually, they disappeared entirely from mainstream retailers. You can still find them online occasionally, but most people have completely forgotten Tangy Toms existed. Skips. Tickle Pickle were pickled onion-flavoured prawn cocktail crisps launched in the 1990s as a variant of the original Skips range. The light, airy texture melted on the tongue instantly, leaving intense pickled onion flavour. A packet cost 15 to 20 pence. The novelty name Tickle Pickle made them instantly memorable in playgrounds. Despite being lighter than regular crisps, the strong pickled onion flavour meant a little packet went a long way. By 2003, KP Snacks discontinued Tickle Pickle to streamline the Skips range back to just prawn cocktail. The pickled onion variant vanished completely, and most people don't remember Tickle Pickle ever existed. Hula Hoops XL launched in the early 2000s as a supersized version of the classic ring-shaped potato snacks. The XL rings were nearly twice the diameter of regular hula hoops, making them impossible to wear on fingers like the originals. Flavours included salt and vinegar and cheese and onion. A packet cost 35 to 40 pence. The larger size meant fewer rings per packet, disappointing children who enjoyed collecting and stacking regular hula hoops. Sales never matched the original smaller version. By the mid-2000s, Hula Hoops XL quietly disappeared from shelves. KP Snacks refocused on the classic size, and XL was never mentioned again, completely forgotten today. Space Raiders launched in the late 1970s as Britain's cheapest crisps, and initially available in multiple flavours including cheese, pickled onion and beef. The cheese flavour featured bright orange corn puffs with strong cheddar seasoning. A packet cost just 10 pence throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, making them the ultimate pocket money snack. The alien mascot on the packet made them instantly recognisable. By the mid-2000s, manufacturers discontinued the cheese flavour, leaving only pickled onion and beef variants on shelves. The bright orange cheese Space Raiders vanished completely, and most people assume pickled onion was always the only flavour. The cheese variant is entirely forgotten today. Knick Knacks Cream and Cheesy launched in the 1980s as one of the original Knick Knacks flavours, featuring a creamy cheese seasoning on knobbly corn snacks. A packet cost 15 to 25 pence throughout the 1990s. The cream cheese flavour was milder and less intense than scampi and lemon, appealing to people who found other Knick Knacks flavours too strong. Cream and Cheesy became a lunchbox staple for children who preferred subtler snacks. By the early 2000s, KP Snacks discontinued Cream and Cheesy to focus on more popular flavours like Nice and Spicy and Scampi and Lemon. The cream cheese variant vanished, and nobody petitioned for its return. Completely forgotten today, Monster Munch. Spaghetti sauce launched in the early 1990s as a limited edition flavour offering sweet tomato and herb seasoning. The Monster Claw-shaped corn snacks turned fingers orange from the tomato powder. A packet cost 20 to 25 pence. The spaghetti sauce flavour replicated tinned spaghetti taste, nostalgic and sweet rather than authentic Italian. Children enjoyed the novelty, but sales never matched classic pickled onion or beef flavours. By the late 1990s, spaghetti sauce Monster Munch quietly disappeared from shelves. Walkers never officially announced the discontinuation. The flavour simply vanished. Most people don't remember Monster Munch ever came in spaghetti sauce flavour. It's completely forgotten today. Walker's Classics Lamb and Mint launched in 2015 as part of the Bring It Back campaign, inviting customers to vote for discontinued flavours to return temporarily. Lamb and Mint competed against beef and onion and cheese and chive. A packet cost around £1. The lamb flavour was herby and gamey. The polarising customers. Some loved the authentic roast lamb taste, others found it too unusual. Despite a dedicated fan base voting for lamb and mint's return, beef and onion won the campaign. Lamb and Mint disappeared after the limited run ended, never returning to shelves. Walkers never brought it back permanently. It's already forgotten just 10 years later. These 30 crisps weren't just snacks, they were childhood itself. What you bought with pocket money at corner shops, what you traded in playgrounds, what turned lunchboxes into treasure chests. Tuda, horror bags, Ringos, potato puffs, crisps that filled every British childhood from the 1960s to the 2000s. Somewhere along the way, manufacturers pulled them from shelves, recipes changed, and nobody talks about these crisps anymore. But if you shook a Smith's salt bag, you wore horror bags' fangs like vampire teeth, or stacked Ringos on your fingers, you remember. If these crisps remind you of childhood, hit like. Share this with anyone who remembers corner shop crisps. Subscribe for more British nostalgia. Comment which crisp you miss most. Let's remember the crisps that vanished whilst we weren't watching.